All right, welcome to another edition of the Above the Bridge podcast. I'm your host, Thaddeus. Shout out to our producer, boy band, John. What's up, John? This is episode 36. Shout out to our sponsors, of course, keeping it fresh always, Defend Hawaii. Shout out to our sponsor, Defend Hawaii. If you go on to their website, defendhawaii.com, promo code ATBpod upon checkout, you'll receive 15% off your entire order. Also, Detail Garage Hawaii, same thing. If you want to detail your car, you can get waxes, polishes, soaps, whatever. DetailGarageHawaii.com, ATBpod upon checkout, 15% off your entire order. And our last sponsor, which is our new one, Hawaii Candy Factory. They have lihimui belts, all kind of nerd candies, anything you can think of. My daughter loves it. I love it. It's good for her when you get the munchies. HawaiiCandyFactory.com, ATBpod upon checkout, 10% off your entire order. Okay, so this week, my guest, I'm super stoked to have on the show. He graduated from the same school I did and just built his career from there. Actually, former Kahaluu Bronco, but he's the UH. He used to be a UH star linebacker. And now he's the assistant head coach at one of the best high schools in the country, Bishop Gorman. Everybody knows him, Chris Brown. What's up, man?
What's up, Dad? Thanks for having me on, bro.
Hey, thanks for coming on, man. I know it's a busy time right now. So thanks for making a time for us. You guys started the season, or are you guys still doing preseason?
Yeah, no, we started our season, but the preseason, for us, we try to have that national, what do you call? We're trying to win the national championship every single year. So our preseason is actually part of the entire season. So we just played St. Louis and came out on top of that one. So that's one down.
That's crazy. I mean, as a Damien alumni, it's always good for me to hear anybody being St. Louis. So that's cool. But so the preseason, like, I guess the records count though. So to win a national championship in high school, is there a tournament for that?
No, so they go according to your strength of schedule. So what we try to do every year is we try to go out there and try to play the state champions in every state. So for instance, St. Louis, we would play Mater Dei. We play like a Lone Peak from Utah. We play Chandler from Arizona. This week we're actually flying out to Miami. We're playing Miami Central. You know what I mean? So we're trying, Cedar Hill from Texas, we flew down there and we play down there. But that's the only way that like somebody like Max Preps, who can actually give a national championship, they look at your strength of schedule and they see who you actually played, and then they tally up the votes, and then that's how you win.
Oh, that's crazy. I mean, I guess that's the only way to do it. There's no tournament or anything, but shoot, like the way these high schools are nowadays, it's getting to be almost like college, huh?
It is. I mean, but I think sometimes it's a little unfair because of the rules. Like in California, like you can go from school to school. There's really no rules, I mean, same thing in Florida. But like you look at like the ILH, you can't go from an ILH school to private school to private school. You have to actually sit out the year, but in certain states, there is no rules. You can just jump from school to school. Out here in Las Vegas, you can't, I mean, you can't actually go from, Liberty High School to Bishop Gorman and actually play. You actually have to sit out the entire year. So, it's tough, but in some states, I think it's kind of an advantage.
Yeah. Do you guys recruit? I mean, for your guys' school, you guys go out and recruit all over the country, or is just within Nevada?
You know what? I mean, think about it like this, like Las Vegas is considered the ninth island, right? And you got a lot of families that want to move and actually have a better life, right? Because they can't afford anything in Hawaii. Yeah. So they come out to Las Vegas, and just so happen they have athletes that actually live in their household, right? So you got good schools like Liberty and Bishop Gorman that can actually help promote the kid, So why not go to these schools? So, and then the moment that they actually see what we do, there is no need for recruiting. You know what I mean? You look at the way we actually run our program, you watch the way you know, how we compete on a national level. Nobody got to recruit. If you want to actually succeed, why wouldn't you want to come to Bishop Gorman or even a Liberty, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. And I always hear people say, if you guys want to be watched on ESPN playing high school football or OC16, it's not that hard of a choice if you're trying to get to that next level.
Yeah.
But let's back it up before you became a coach and all this. I met one of your teammates from back in the day today. He's a therapist at Kaneohe Physical Therapy. This guy Tyson. And he said he knew you from back in the day of Kahaluu Broncos time. And I guess that's where you got your whole football career started.
Yeah.
That was when.
Go ahead.
That was when it was at King, right? This practicing at King.
Yeah. That's when we was at King, man. That was the best memories. You know, I mean, my best friends to this day are from the Kahaluu Broncos football team. You know, we all grew up together, you know, and then we actually went from Kahaluu to Damien. You know, we played at Damien, you know, we still remain brothers, you know, all the way to this day. But I think the pride of the boys and for me, like growing up in Kahaluu, growing up in a country, actually playing there. And then, you know, like we would always play teams like the Kaneohe Knights, and Kaneohe is always good. You know, I mean, they're always champions. So we were always the underdogs, but, you know, I mean, I think that's where it all started for us when we went to Damien, and we didn't go to St. Louis. We went to Damien, you know, another underdog team. And we, you know, the fight that's in us, you know, is, I think for me, I think that's what made me into the athlete I was, because I was always the dog trying to be better than everybody else. You know what I mean?
That definitely is apparent at Damien. I mean, I got to play a season at Damien, and it's different. You learn, like, nothing is given to you. And I mean, I remember suiting up and being out in the stadium and be like 30 players deep and going up against St. Louis and coming out with on squad. And like, just when they clapped their pads, it echoed the whole stadium, and ours sounded like firecrackers. But yeah, I can see that, how your mentality would grow from that.
But Damien, you know what, but you know what, that it's humble beginnings, right? So everything that comes your way, you appreciate after that. You know, you learn how to lose before you actually learn how to win. To me, that's the most important thing. You know what I mean? If you can learn how to lose and be a winner as a loser, when you actually win something, it's 10 times as great because you appreciate it more. You know what I mean? Oh. If you're constantly win, and all of a sudden you lose, half of the kids go down in the toilet. You know what I mean? But the kids who actually come from the bottom up, they know how to lose, right? So they just say, you know what, I'm going to work harder. And I think that's what Damien brought to the table. You know, I went from, I mean, you remember the 80-yard football field that was dirt.
Still is, huh?
Yeah, you know, but then now I'm at this palace, you know, that's a college stadium that's in high school. And it's just like, I appreciate every single minute that I'm there. You know what I mean? I look at it, I stare at the field, I just say, thank you, Lord. You know what I mean? Like, holy smokes, this is crazy compared to where we came from, you know?
For sure. Who's your coach at Damien? Was Coach Ina?
I had Coach Ina my first year, and then after that, I had Coach Boy, Mel Andres.
Oh yeah, he was both of them were my coaches too. Well, Coach Boy was the O-line coach, and Coach Ina was the head coach. Yeah. I heard a rumor Coach Boy put in his rec for try to be the AD.
Oh, for real?
That's what I heard. I don't know if it's true. I don't know. Yeah, I heard that, but I don't know if it's true.
But we used to literally have 3-a-days. Like, we go run at Kalamwana Beach at 4 a.m. Then we practice all morning, and then we practice all afternoon, only to win 2 games.
But hey, like you said though, those 2 games felt like the Super Bowl.
I know, man. You know, but Coach Boy was notorious for being like, we're gonna win, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Like, Coach Boy, we only won 2 games, man. We get blown up by St. Louis, you know. Shoot,
oh man. Yeah, that was when never had divisions, yo.
Yeah.
When I got to play, fortunately, we won more than we lost, and we ended up going to the Prep Bowl for the runner-up game. I think that's the best Damien ever did. Yep. We beat Kailua in the 2nd place game or whatever it was, but back then you're right though. Like, Damien was never one powerhouse, was never a school that people like everybody with it. Okay, that's in the late job. We play at 3:00 in the Sun Bowl. Yeah. And that kind of determination definitely groomed all those players and made them stronger. And every player that I know now or teammates I had or people that went through the program, bro, they're not normal. They get more of a drive or more of a inner strength, and that comes from it. But man, they looking good now. But Eddie just left.
I mean, Eddie had that team rolling, man. And you know, before I got to Gorman, I actually was there for the 2 years with Eddie, and we were
really?
Yeah. So 2013 and 2014, I was with Eddie. I was his defensive coordinator at Damien. And then before I got the call to come up to Gorman, in 2015.
Did Eddie he was older than you? He didn't play with you at UH.
Yeah, no. Eddie was a couple of years older than me. But he set the tone for the Damien boys. You know what I mean? Like he was one of the guys that he put Damien on the map at University of Hawaii. There's been other guys.
Yeah.
But, Damien. I mean, Eddie was one who's. I mean, you talk about a walk-on that ended up being all world. At University of Hawaii, and then he put Damien up on the map over there. So, we owe a lot to Eddie too.
Yeah, and he was the same way, fighter from the beginning. I mean, he was 1 year younger than me, and I seen his come up, and I seen him get busted by Coach Aina. I seen everything. Like,
I think all of us got busted by Coach Aina, man.
Well, he was your guys' dean too.
He was our dean.
Oh, many pink slips in his office.
Oh man, I mean, I met the speeches he used to give us. I mean, he gave me this whole speech about Abraham Lincoln. I had no idea what he was trying to tell me, but he was trying to tell me that Abraham Lincoln never cheated because I got caught cheating on a test.
Oh. It made sense to him, bro.
I know. I had no idea what he was saying, but the bottom line was Abraham Lincoln never cheated on the test. I don't know how he knew that, but
you read it somewhere.
Shoot, man.
So after Damien, like, how did you want to try to go overseas to the mainland for college, or like you wanted to stay home?
When I was at St. Louis, when I was coaching there, I had a linebacker, Nella Otukolo, and he was a sophomore at the time. And when I was, Bishop Gorman actually came down to play us 1 year, I believe it was 2011 or 12. I think it was 2011. Anyway, Nella was a sophomore, and he did such a great job against Bishop Gorman. Like, he literally lit them up. He was a sophomore. He ended up transferring up there. He ended up playing 2 years up there. He ended up becoming all-world, like defensive player of the year and all this stuff. But when he graduated, the powers that be said, whoever taught that kid how to play linebacker is going to be the next linebacker coach at Bishop Gorman. So all of a sudden, I'm working out at 4 a.m. at 24 Fitness, and I get a call from the head coach, and he says, "Hey, this is Coach Sanchez. I want to offer you a job as a linebackers coach." And I was just like, "Huh?" Came out of nowhere,
Wow.
I was like blown away. So he goes, this is what this is what your salary would be, and this is what you'd be doing. And I was like, "Oh, I need some time to to think about it." He goes, "You got 2 weeks, man, because that's when I need you up here." I was just like, "Oh, it's not like I'm moving down the street, you know what I mean?" Oh, but you know what though? I took the leap of faith, and I just said, I'm gonna go. This is what I love. I love football. I love helping kids. I love being there for these boys and trying to raise them. From a coaching standpoint and trying to guide them through life. I said, why not take the island mentality, what we were raised on, all our values and beliefs, and we'll take it up to Las Vegas and see what happens. So, I came up here in 2015, and shoot, been here 7 years now.
Wow, that's been a while. So you kind of got established as a linebacker coach, but before that, you were at UH and you were a defensive lineman, correct?
Yeah.
So how did you get from defensive lineman to linebacker?
So they recruited me as a linebacker because I was an undersized D lineman, but for linebackers, I think that was kind of the perfect size. But I didn't want to sit out my freshman year. So Coach McMackin, who was a defensive coordinator at the time, said the defensive end is up for grabs. If anybody wants it, you guys can try and get it. So they had me as a linebacker, and I said, you know what, F it, bro, I'm gonna go. So I went down there, and I went as a defensive end, and I went up against Kahaluu, who ended up being a 4th-round draft pick to the Rams. And on my very first one-on-ones, man, I beat him. And actually, on the one-on-ones, I just, I became like, I started beating all the top guys. And then they started noticing it. And I went from like the 4th string all the way up to the 1st string. And then, pretty soon, man, the first game came around, USC, and shit, guess who was starting against USC?
And that was your freshman year.
That was my freshman year. Yeah.
That like John brought it up. That wasn't the 0-12 year. Huh?
No, yeah. So no, it wasn't that year. So it was that was the thing. Coming out of Damien, I wasn't real good at the SATs, so I actually had to take that semester, and I actually had to. Bro, get this. I took the SAT 13 times.
13 times.
13 times.
But it's now on a cumulative score, bro.
So finally, on the 13th one, I passed with a dang 965. Oh. So I got in, and then it was the perfect thing because I missed the 0-12 year with Coach Van Appen. Coach June came in that spring, and I was his first signing on scholarship. So, that's when my clock actually started. So 99, and then I went from 2002.
So your first couple years, you was playing D-line then?
The first 2 years, yep. So my freshman and my sophomore year, and then my sophomore year actually I made all WAC. I made the second team all WAC, and then we had Jeff Ulbrich when I was a freshman. Jeff was the man, and I learned a lot from Jeff.
49er.
Yeah, I learned a lot from Jeff, and it's still to this day. He's my brother. But his mentality, his leadership, and they could see it. They saw it from when I was playing D-line. So Coach Lempo, who was the defense coordinator at the time, said, how about you go be the middle linebacker? I said, I never played it before. He goes, I want you to be, you're built like a middle linebacker. So I said, okay. So it took the whole spring for me to actually learn how to play it. But I learned, man, and then I came in as a junior, and shoot, man, I ended up making first team all WAC, third team all American, just on my first year playing middle linebacker.
Which was more fun?
Oh, the middle linebacker. Yeah. Because pretty much, I ended up becoming the, I was the shot caller out there. I was the one that directed Coach Lempo's defense.
Oh man.
And they voted me captain, and it was the best move I ever made.
That's crazy. And you guys are playing Aloha Stadium, and man, that must feel different playing at Aloha Stadium when it's full packed and everybody's cheering for you versus when you were there for Damien and you get the band and your parents.
Well, and no disrespect to all the boys now, but when we played, the least we would have is 42,000. We would pack it out, in certain games, Fresno, BYU, or some of these other schools that came in, and we packed 50,000 in that place.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that I played all over the United States, and anybody will tell you this. Aloha Stadium is the loudest stadium because it's made out of metal.
Yeah.
So when everybody starts banging their feet on the ground, it's so loud. You know what I mean? Like you cannot even hear each other talk to each. I cannot even call a place because it's so loud.
Oh, that's crazy.
That was the greatest feeling, man, when you just you hear the roar of the crowd, you know what I mean? But it's a lot different than what it is recently, but yeah, it hasn't been the same since though.
Yep. And you guys left a legacy, and that's a lot of fans still remember those times, especially like the ones I know. Yep. But I remember watching you on your Instagram when you guys came down as a coach to play, and you were in the stadium, and like you kind of reminiscing, like it must have been full circle coming back to where you started from high school to college, where you built your legacy, and now you're coaching young kids in that same environment. Right? It must have been kind of surreal.
Yeah, that was one of the most surreal moments of my whole coaching career, because I sat there and I looked and I said to myself, like, oh man, I went all the way to Las Vegas, brought this team all the way back after all these years, and to look up and see 20,000 people in the stands just for that game. You know what I mean? And then you could hear the roar, and you could hear it, and it just brought back so much memories. But I think I was more like, even when the day before, when I was giving my speech to the team, I broke down, because I'm like, you guys don't understand what this means to me, that you guys are in the place that I gave my life. You know what I mean? Like, I literally died on this football field every time I was on it. And I pointed up to the stands and I said, that's where my mom used to sit right there. You know what I mean? She's not here anymore, but that's where she used to sit, and she used to cheer her baby boy on. And I said, I can't have that, but now I can have you guys living, doing what I did. And no matter win or lose, I'm just so proud that they're there. But, even after the game, I wasn't sad that we lost. I was more proud, because I was looking at St. Louis and I said to myself, that's the school that gave me my first coaching opportunity, was St. Louis.
So how did that happen?
So when I was done playing, I came back and I went to Damien, and and the coach at the time, I said, I'd like to coach. He said, we don't have any spots. And I was kind of like, okay, fine. No, that's fine. And then the moment that St. Louis heard that I was done playing, they called and they said, come coach. And that was just coaching JV with Craig Stutzman and all my old teammates. He had the JV at the time at St. Louis, and we started coaching at St. Louis, but it was my first coaching experience, and those guys actually embraced me, even though I was a Damien boy. That whole St. Louis family, man, they loved me. They brought me in, they treated me as their own, and and I'm always going to be appreciative to that family on that side, with St. Louis. And then, moving up, and then with us taking over the varsity, I mean, it felt great, because they actually trusted me to be one of the coaches on the varsity, so after that, I mean, once I was done at St. Louis, then Eddie called me, and I ended up working back at Damien.
Oh, that must have been a good moment.
Yeah, no, it was good to come back. It was a lot different, but it was funny, because Eddie said, okay, I want you to be the defensive coordinator. So I said, okay. So I brought my playbook that I had at St. Louis, and I brought it to Damien, and then the coaches there said, yeah, coach, you know what? Out of all those coverages, we probably can run 2. I said, no, you guys not for real. He goes, no, we're for real. You'll see what we got over there. He goes, it's not St. Louis, bro. You got about 25 strong.
Yeah. Dripping
and they
wet.
go both ways, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Iron Man.
Okay,
back to your football career. Did you ever get opportunity to take it to the next level after?
Yeah. So I signed with Baltimore, and I spent some time there. It was on the practice squad. Got activated a couple of weeks, and it was about a 2-year thing, going back and forth. And then I wanted to continue playing and chasing it, but then my mom got sick. So she ended up passing away. So that was the decision for me to say, okay, time to hang it up, time to come back and be with my family. So it was from that point on that I came back, and I said, okay, but I still love the game, you know. So that's when I started coaching. But yeah, I got to spend some time in Baltimore. That was great. I mean, just, bro, so get this. So in my locker at Damien, I had this big poster of Ray Lewis.
Oh, that was going to be my next question.
So, and then walking in there and seeing him for the first time, I'm like, okay, you got Jesus and you got Ray Lewis. That's how I felt. You know what I mean? But when this guy talks, like, it's like you talk about people who have that special gift to speak. Oh, Dad, I'm not even joking, right? This guy makes you want to run through a wall. You know what I mean? Just cause, you know what I mean? He's asking you to get him a cup of water, but you want to run through a wall. You know what I mean? Like, he just has that power in his voice. But to be around that guy was one of the greatest things that I actually got to experience, because just in that time that I had with him, the knowledge that I learned, the inspiration that he gave me, you know what I mean? To look at a guy who's the greatest at what he does. You look at Tom Brady, right? Why wouldn't you be around Tom Brady? He's not like that because he was just born that way. You know, something makes him that great. And something made Ray Lewis that great. And it was his work ethic, the way he thought, his mentality, you know, and I just love being around the guy. I remember watching film with him at his house. You know, we're watching practice and we're watching the same thing over and over. I'm talking about like the same play like 50 times. And then he looks back at me, he goes, CB, what do you see? I said, Ray, the same 50 plays you just was wrong. You kept playing back. He goes, no, look at the guard on this play. Look at the way the quarterback puts his hands out. Look at the way the quarterback looks to his right. Look at the way the guard puts his left hand down. I'm like, holy smokes. I never, ever could ever see that kind of stuff. But,
Wow.
But that kind of stuff helped me to be a better coach, you know, because now I can spot things that I couldn't back then.
Oh, as a player.
Yeah, as a player. But then once I learned under him, it was just like, oh. And then not only that, I mean, like the work ethic and what it took to actually be the greatest at his position, possibly the greatest defensive player ever. Yeah. And then you had all these other guys that were at the Ravens too, that was just Jonathan Ogden, you know, and what's so full circle is Jonathan Ogden was the best offensive lineman there. This guy picked me up during one of the drills and literally threw me into the stands. And I was just like, oh man, this is a different level. This is a different human being. But this is crazy. Yeah, but this is the crazy thing. His son is my D lineman now at Bishop Gorman.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Isn't that crazy? I know.
You gotta throw him in the stands now.
Yeah, I know, you know? This is what you guys did to me.
Yeah. Oh, but Brian, that's I guess everything in life is like a learning experience. I mean, yeah. I'm sure you had trials and tribulations trying to get into the NFL, and once you got there, you learned from all the greats like that. I mean, I'm a fan of Ray Lewis, except for when he beat the Niners in the Super Bowl. But,
the Super Bowl.
Yeah. But yeah, his tenacity was always crazy, and yeah, you could just tell passion. Like when he came out on the field, the passion to be there is a different level, and that's just from watching it.
Dad, you know the greatest feeling was to watch him do his dance for the first time.
Oh, yeah.
On the field with the fireworks, with the music playing, and he comes out and he does the dance. I was in tears, and I said, at this point, I can die now.
That's pretty cool, bro.
Okay, my life is fulfilled. I'm good. I can die now.
Wow, that's kind of cool, man. That must have been surreal.
You know, and it was cool because we stayed in touch, throughout the years. Another one, like I stay in touch all the time, is like Ed Reed. Like Ed Reed is one of the greatest. Like it's just crazy, like these personalities of these guys. You would think like him being top 3 possibly greatest safeties to ever play. Did you meet this guy? And this guy, the first thing he asked me is, "How is it living in Hawaii? You think when I come down there, you can teach me how to play an ukulele?" You know what I mean? Like it's like that. You know what I mean? You would think these guys would be like hi maka maka, but then like he's not. He's like the most down to earth guy that you would ever meet. But it's things like that I think help me, because when you're put in a position like that where people look up to you and they think of you in this on this pedestal, it's like, how do you hold yourself? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Are you gonna act like an asshole, or are you gonna actually like be humble and treat everybody with respect? And being around a guy like Ed, like, I mean, it's like he even inspired me, because he's like, dude, you can be the biggest dude in the whole world, but you can either be loved and respected, or you can be hated. You know what I mean? It's better to be loved and respected,
Yeah.
I mean, like, because a guy like Ed, he doesn't have to make you fear him. You can watch him on the football field. You know what I mean? He'll kill you on the football field. You know what I mean? So anyways, yeah, I mean, just being around those guys, I thought was real special for me.
Well, that guarantee transcends to your players. All those lessons that you learn from them guarantee transitions to your players. And now you're that role model that's respected. So how did it feel? Okay, you leave Hawaii, pack all your stuff, like your family and everything came with you also, or just you?
No, bro, it was just me. Yeah, it was just me. That was tough, because remember that was 2 weeks. He literally said, "You got 2 weeks to get up here." I was like, yeah, like, okay, and then I talked to my family about it, and they were just like, "Go." You know what I mean? You gotta go.
So how was like that first week, man? Like it'd be like rookie year, like, but you're the coach.
So, when I first walked in, like people were kind of standoffish at me. They were like, "Okay, this guy, like, what is he? You know what I mean? Like, who is he? You see the tattoos. You know what I mean? You see some of the muscles. You see that kind of that look that I have." And it was tough because being the guy at St. Louis, being the guy at Damien, everybody knows who you are. Now you go to a program like Bishop Gorman, and I remember walking in the first day, and the team was still practicing out in the football field, and I walked out, and the head coach ran past me, and I said, "Hey, coach," and he goes, "Coach, meeting in the lecture hall in 5 minutes," and I was like, "Okay, where's the lecture hall?" You know what I mean? So I literally had to like walk around and ask people, "Hey, where's the lecture hall?" But you know what I mean? Like, I was nervous, man. I'm not gonna lie. And then, then dealing with these, like my bosses, and you're not dealing with normal people, man. You know what I mean? You're some dudes, these guys own half of Las Vegas,
Well, yeah, the Fertitas, huh?
Yeah, I was nervous, but they were very welcoming, and I told myself this. I said, "Look, man, you came up here for a reason. Don't be the guy that just sits in the back. You know what I mean? Get your butt up and start, introducing yourself." That was the first thing that I did. I got up, introduced myself to everybody. I kept doing that over and over and over. Went to all the functions, and people started recognizing me, and then I got to do what I got to do on the football field, and it all worked out good.
Yeah. So the Fertitas own Bishop Gorman, or they just own the
program? I mean, they're the big funders, man. They donate a lot,
So you got to meet them?
Yeah, no, we're all real close. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
that's super cool.
We're all very, very, very close. They're great people. Lorenzo Fertitta, who's Nico Fertitta's father. I mean, he's a genuine good man, you know what I mean? And he's a guy too, just like how I feel about Ray Lewis and it's inspiration. That's a guy that I love being around because, his work ethic, and you see what he does, with his businesses. And I mean, bro, there's one thing to be a millionaire, but when you're a billionaire 4 times over, man, that's pretty cool. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be that,
Yeah.
How do I get to be that guy,
Yeah, nothing costs anything if you get $1 billion.
Right. But I'm telling you, if you meet the guy, he's the most down-to-earth person, you know what I mean? Like, he'll give you the shirt off his back, and I owe so much to that guy. It's such a humble human, you know what I mean? And I love and respect the guy 100%.
So as a first-time coach in a mainland school, you have all these mainland kids coming to you for your tutelage. How did you connect with them, being that you from Hawaii? I mean, I'm sure you played with mainland people your whole life, but connecting with students and kids that aren't from Hawaii, how was that?
I think for me was keeping everything real, with these kids, by telling them exactly who I am, and by telling them, like, I know what I'm doing. You guys just got to trust me. You know what I mean? So, in the beginning, the cultural differences was a little tough, but consistency is the biggest thing. If you can be consistent with these kids and be, make sure when they see you, they don't see a guy who's just bullshitting. You see a guy who's actually for real. They're real. They're a real human being. Everything that I say, I mean. You know what I mean? When I say I love you, man, I do. I honestly do. So I think establishing that trust with the kids and letting them know, like, this is what you get, man. I'm gonna be tough on you guys. I'm gonna scream and yell at you guys. But I think discipline is love. I'm gonna bring the best out of you guys, but you guys just gotta follow what I say. And it was after that first year, I established what, I don't know if you saw, like, on my Instagram, but I live by this thing called the Lion's Den. And the Lions Den to me is like it's a family, right? So it's a family that I kind of create with these boys to say like, hey, we're all in it together. If one fights, we all fight, but we all protect one another. We love one another. You know what I mean? We trust one another, and that bond that never breaks. So, I established that the first year with the kids. And then after that, man, this thing has been going, and now you can see it like they're in college, some of them in the NFL, and they're all still using that term, the Lions Den.
That's insane. And what I did notice on your Instagram, and which I think I was at work when I seen it, and I was like tripping out. You guys have like this, it was a uniform reveal.
Yeah.
So I was watching your Instagram, and the uniform, they're going to show the new uniform. And you come out full pads, just yoked out. I thought like you look like you was gonna play in the NFL that day, man. And the reception that your kids had for you was like, they were, and you had them all going, and you just played the role, and you came out like you was walking into the Super Bowl stadium, and they just resonated with those kids. And you could tell that bond is they respect you for what you do. But bro, I had chicken skin watching that. I was like, holy shit, he can play again.
The kids love it. It's something that we do for them every year, so they don't know when it's coming. It's just, they know that it's sooner or later it's coming. So they kind of like, they look around and say, okay, all the coaches are here except Coach Brown. Something's got to be up today, But we have a partnership with Nike, and so that we're able to get new uniforms every single year. So the whole thing is what does Nike design for us? What color schemes do they give us? And I think like one of the big ones was when we partnered up with Jordan. We came out in the Jordan uniforms, and I came out in the chrome helmet, the Jordan jersey, the Jordan pants, the Jordan shoes, and the moment I came walking through that door, the kids went crazy, The moment you see that, but then, for me, like, I'm in the back, like doing curls, like I'm doing push-ups,
getting swole, yeah.
When I walk out of there.
So how did that feel, like putting on the pads again, that snap, that noise when you put the snaps on, like that must have felt like, that must have gave you chicken skin too, you know what I mean?
That always gives me chicken skin, man. Sometimes, I know I'm a little nuts in the head, I get some flashbacks every once in a while, Yeah, but what the funniest thing is putting on the pads is great. Taking off the pads, it literally takes me about 30 minutes. I cannot get my to go off. It literally takes like 4 guys to help take them off, Oh man, it's a whole workout just taking that thing off, man.
That's worth it, right? Those kids must love that shit. Yeah.
The kids love it, man. It just, they don't know what to expect. That's why they don't know what jersey comes through, But it's funny because they put it on social media, and like nobody says that's their coach. So people are like, who the hell is this?
Yo, exactly. Hold on, high school is like, wow, who? They go monster on their team.
That's the new quarterback.
Bro, tell me that wasn't how, like, when we was playing St. Louis, they would come out with full beards and like, I was like, these guys is high school or what? They get like 3 kids in the stands. We walking past like, watch daddy. I'm like, daddy.
Oh man.
Bruh,
I know. Some of them had the white hairs. Bro.
Food, they get tattoos, bro.
I just been through puberty.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yo, that was how it was back then, bro. So from you growing up in Hawaii high school and how it was back then from when you were playing, coaching and football was a lot different to how it is now. What are some of the differences that you notice? I know there's a lot more with precaution and CTE and head injuries and all that. I mean, Coach Anna used to have us bull ring head, like 5, what is it? Put your helmet on the 5 yards, blow the whistle and gadoosh. Like, Oh, you cannot do that no more, right? You get busted.
No, yeah. I mean, coaching it's you got to be so on point now because everybody's so smart, like the big programs out there. You're talking about a lot of coaches that are coaching high school that should be in college or in the NFL. They just haven't found their way out of the high school level yet. But the mindset and the knowledge that they have is far beyond high school. So compared to where we came from, you know what I mean? And like if I ask, Coach George at Damien, Coach, how do I split the double team? He's gonna tell me, well, you gotta be tough. You gotta be tough. I mean, you gotta just beat them. But you know what I mean? Now we actually have to say, okay, this is how you do it. You know what I mean? Turn your shoulder to your side, pull your right hand down, drive with your inside leg, but you actually gotta, if you don't know those things as a coach, you're not gonna win because the top programs are teaching those boys that,
Yeah.
And then when it comes to tackling, they got it down to such a science that, it's you take the head out of the entire hit. Everything now is like for instance, for us, we teach like the rugby tackle, you know what I mean, where you actually shoot the hips and you twist and you gator roll. You know what I mean? Taking the helmet out, and the helmet is literally only for safety. It's not used as the hitting device. You know what I mean? So now you actually take the helmet out, you use the shoulder pads, use the hands and the arms, and that's how you're tackling. But dude, I mean, compared to where when we were playing, I mean, holy smoke.
The big horse collar and just
yeah, I was the one who had the big horse collar. With the towel, you know what I mean?
Yeah, the butterfly in the pad so the thing looked like
Well, I'm thinking about the helmets we had. Like we spent thousands of dollars refurbishing our helmets because it's it's the rules. Like your kids got to be safe. I'm thinking to myself, who is that Damien? Ain't no damn thing is refurbishing one helmet. You know what I mean? All they did was they get the cloth and they wipe the top. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You get 2 extra shiny snaps. That's it. Was it Donnie Martin?
Donnie Martin, bro. Yeah,
Donnie Martin. Give you a new chin strap.
Yeah, here's your new helmet.
Yeah. You get an extra screw. Get all the screws. Yeah, bro, that's crazy. So how did you transition from that? I mean, guaranteed like learning at Damien, and I don't know about UH, but going hardcore brute force muscle, just trying for hit tackle, going to transition from that to finesse, you had to learn it before you could have taught it. Where'd you learn all that?
I studied, man. I'm not gonna lie, like I study everything. I'm a guy who's humble enough to say I don't know it all. You know what I mean? But I want to know. You know what I mean? So I'm constantly asking people. I'm asking. I spend time with different college coaches. You know what I mean? I'm looking at what the NFL is doing, and I'm constantly like watching stuff on the internet. I'm learning. But whatever, us even as our whole coaching staff, we're always on that, trying to be better. What is the NFL doing? What are the top college programs? What is Alabama doing? What is Oregon doing? And we actually take those ideas and we put it at a high school level. But I mean, don't get me wrong. Establishing the toughness is very important. We still got to establish the toughness. And even at Gorman, we don't shy away from toughness. We want to be known for the toughness. When you play us, like. We're not shying away. We're running right through that hole right there. We'll tell you where we're going. You got to stop us. You know what I mean? We're going to go 100 miles an hour. You go 100 miles an hour, and we'll see who's tougher. The only difference is that now, there's a lot of different things that you can do to actually better your play and better your tackling, better your running. I mean, you look at dudes now. I mean, when we was playing, there was nobody running a 4-4. You know what I mean? It was so hard. People are running 4-1s now. You know what I mean? I've never even heard of that. I mean, the linebackers are running 4-2s. You know what I mean? Like I thought me running a 4-6 was blazing. You know what I mean? Now that's the slowest guy on the field. You know what I mean? But I mean, that's education. That's learning the different mechanics of the the body. Diet. It all comes down to everything. But it's what the NFL is doing. You know what I mean? So it's, it's just constantly learning, constantly wanting to be better.
That's amazing. And like you said, you had to humble yourself to become a student of the game, and that'll transition to your kids. But man, the stadium you guys have is fully, I was going to say, what are the biggest differences between where your kids play versus Damien's locker room? I mean, granted, we only had one 80-yard field with one end zone, but we back in the day, we lucky. I mean, we had to bring our own tape.
We're really blessed. We're lucky, man, to have what we have at that stadium. If you ever been to the athletic complex, I mean, we have like our weight room. I mean, it'll blow your mind, man. We have 22 racks in that thing. We got an indoor track. You know what I mean? Like, we got all of these different things, and people look like, wow, you guys spoiled. But I say it like this: come and watch this team work out in there. We use every single inch of that weight room. You know what I mean? And no matter what we have, like, those boys work their butts off each and every day. Each and every day, they work really hard. So we are blessed to have that, but we utilize it, and that's what helps us become national champions. No matter what Damien Memorial High School has ever done, they'll never win a national championship. And we know that because they don't have the resources.
Or state champion.
Right, but I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I love our school to death, but they will never compete on a national level. And in order to compete on a national level, that's the kind of facilities you're going to need. I mean, it's the truth, because it helps in preparing the kids on the football field.
So what things that you learned from playing at Damien could you help you utilize when you went as a coach to Bishop Gorman?
The toughness, bro. I'm telling you, man, they all know that Coach Brown is a tough son of a gun. You know what I mean? And what I bring to the table, they know, like, I don't fuck around. You know what I mean? Like, I'm out there and I'm serious. I'm 100 miles an hour. A lot of the people say, like, wow, you keep yourself in shape. Yeah, I keep myself in shape because I want to be a good example to these kids. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm the strength coach, I'm also the strength coach. And if I'm going to be the strength coach, I better damn well look like it. You know what I mean? So when they look at me, I'm not bullshit. I'm not going to tell them to do something if I don't do it. You know what I mean? So
you lead by example.
When I lead by example. So every time I'm coaching, they know that I'm for real, and I'm 110%. I'm 100 miles an hour. I'm hardcore out there, and it's because I believe, discipline and toughness is the foundation. You need discipline, toughness, hard work, and unless you have that, you're not going to be successful. So that's what I learned from Damien. And like I was telling you earlier, that like at Damien, you learn how to lose before you learn how to win. You know what I mean? And that to me was so important because it humbled me and it made me hungry as a lion, each and every day to want to be great. You know what I mean? Like, I know what it is to be on the very bottom. I know what it is to have nothing. You know what I mean? So if you work from the bottom up, everything that you gain is, it's gonna be 10 times worth that much compared to the person who's sitting there, with a silver spoon in his mouth. You know what I mean? So that's the mentality that I bring to those boys, that, I'll break you down. I don't care how good you are. I don't care how fast you run, how strong you are. I don't give a crap. I'm gonna break you down. I'm gonna build you up the right way so that when you do face somebody who's a badass on the other side, you know what I mean? You know that you're in for a fight and you're not gonna quit. You know what I mean?
Right. It's crazy the level of talent watching these high school. I mean, I was at Turtle Bay, I think 2 years ago, and this team came to play Mililani, and they were staying at Turtle Bay, and they came out the bus all dressed nicely, focused, went in a single file line, quiet. I'm thinking, like, these guys playing UH? Like, where? So I said, hey, bro, who are you guys playing? They're like, oh, Mililani. I'm like, oh my God, they're gonna smash Mililani. And it was just like, just their aura, they were champions. I don't even know what team it was. And it's just, they don't look like high school. They don't act like high school. It's crazy because, like, I'm not used to seeing high school kids like that. Like, if you watch it on ESPN or whenever you guys play or like other high schools, like sometimes you can't even tell that's high school.
No.
It's just talent is crazy.
Yeah. Our team, man, we're stacked, man. You know, we have a offensive tackle, Jake Taylor, who's 6'6" and 290, and he's committed to Oklahoma. His three choices was Alabama, Oklahoma, Notre Dame. But when you see this kid and you're like, this kid doesn't have an ounce of fat on his body. He's built like a monster, and he's a killing machine when he's out there. But when you see him in person, it's just like, holy crap. You know what I mean? Like, what a specimen. You know what I mean? and it's just like, I don't know, I know it has a lot to do with our training and how we do things here at Gorman. But I mean, a kid like that, I mean, it's hard to, like you can't find these kids every day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And you cannot teach that kind.
No, you can't. You can't. But we're blessed to have some of these kids and train some of these kids. That's just like, oh man, But special kids, and we're lucky to have them.
Yeah. So you're pretty much progressed your coaching career. You're assistant head coach now for one of the top schools in the world or in the country. Mm-hmm. What are your coaching goals for the future?
I mean, first and foremost, we in 2019 we lost the state championship to Liberty. So that was our first thing. Let's win back the state. Let's win. Let's go and try to win and try to get a national run and try to win another national championship and bring it back to that. I'm not going to leave out of this school until we get to that level. You know what I mean? Then I'll have some confidence or some, I'll have some peace in my heart to say, okay, what's, if there's a different opportunity, then maybe, coaching college has always been something that I always thought about. Coaching the University of Hawaii has always been my dream, man. I mean, wow. I mean, it's not necessarily it's not, I know like going to a Power 5 school, you can make a lot more money, but it's not about the money, man. I just love the University of Hawaii so much, I have so much pride in being a Warrior, and I just know like my mentality and the way I think and, how I can relate to the kids in Hawaii, like that's where my heart is, you know what I mean? Like I want to coach there, but we'll see what happens, man. I mean, as of right now, I love what I'm doing up here, moving up, I moved up the ladder and I'm lucky and blessed to be where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Well, I think it's in your stars. You'll be back home, bro. Guarantee. Yeah. They need the help too, bro. I seen them get bust up last weekend.
I know, man. Man. And the quarterback for UCLA was our quarterback here at Gorman, So
for real? Oh, no. Oh, man. It's been super fun talking with you, bro. It's been almost an hour. I can have Boy Band John come back on and ask the question of the week.
Right on, John.
Hey, so before the question of the week, I wanted to ask you about this past weekend about that school, Bishop Sycamore, when they finessed ESPN.
Goodness. How crazy is that?
Oh, what happened? I haven't even heard this story.
Try to explain, Chris.
Yeah, no. So there was this high school that it was a fake high school that actually played IMG from Florida this past weekend. There are a bunch of like junior college kids, and they all they came together, and this coach put them together and actually they made a team, a high school football team that's not even real. Actually the head coach even got arrested I think a couple days ago.
Whoa.
But anyways, it's so, it blew my mind because Liberty right down the street is scheduled to play them this year. And they're not even real. That's the thing. I'm just like, it's not even a real school. But this is the funny thing. They're not even a real school. These are all junior college kids, and they still got their ass beat by MG, by high school football team. In every category, man. Who comes up with this shit?
That's crazy, bro. Crazy. Oh, that's rolling the dice, bro. Like, how?
Bro, that's some big balls, bro.
Yeah, that is, bro. He in jail thinking like, bro, at least I got one game in.
I know, got one game in. I'm going to the slammer now.
Yeah. That's insane, right? I gotta look that story up.
Yeah, check it out, bro.
Yeah. But how did they fly under the radar with that?
I don't know. I don't know how they pulled this thing off, but I'm reading this thing like, what the hell? They're not even real. But,
oh, good thing you guys wasn't scheduled to play them.
I was like, who the hell is Sycamore, man? Who's that?
All right. So question of the week, Chris, and also Tad, is what is your favorite moment as a player and as a coach?
Favorite moment probably was 1999 beating Fresno in triple overtime to win the WAC championship. And the reason why was because, and Thad knows this, we never won anything at Damien, and I gave my heart and soul to the Damien, football team. And I never won anything my entire life. Even at Kahaluu Broncos, we never won. That was the first thing that I actually won in football.
Shit, that gave me chills.
Yeah. So the triple overtime, and I had my whole family there, my mom, my dad, my son, and it was just such an unbelievable feeling to look up at the stands and see my mom crying, and just saying to myself, finally, I won something in football.
You're a champion.
I'm a champion, man. I even got a champion ring that I gave to my father just for that.
That's awesome.
That's
an awesome story.
I was against David Carr in Fresno.
Yeah. Yep. At Fresno. Yep.
Oh man, yeah. Triple, or I guess like the championship game, it gotta keep going until there's a winner, huh?
Yeah.
That's freaking crazy.
Yep, that's what that stadium was like. I thought it was gonna break because everybody was going crazy, jumping up and down when we won, man.
Oh,
and
man.
That was after the 0-12 season now. So you gotta remember now, like, people was just like, bro, you guys went from the worst to the best.
Yeah. Oh man, that's a good story.
Yeah.
Oh, that's something you could. Plus, you probably get the tape. You can watch it whenever you like.
Oh yeah, man. That was the greatest feeling in the world.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, as a coach, what was your special moment?
Oh man, other than all my boys, going on to college and being successful, which means the world to me. Probably winning the first national championship in 2015. When I was on the St. Louis staff, we won the state championship and we had Marcus Mariota in that team when I was coaching at St. Louis, and that was an unbelievable feeling. But when you win the national championship, when you know that you're the best in the entire world, the best in the whole entire United States, that was the greatest feeling, man. Yeah, I would. You know what? I take that back. 15 was the great one, but 2016 we played St. Thomas Aquinas, and again we hit it to triple overtime, and we gave the ball to Biagio Ali Walsh, who is Muhammad Ali's grandson.
Oh wow!
And he actually ran it in, and he won it in triple overtime, and we won the national championship. So that was one that I was really, really proud of, and I said to myself, like, this is the reason why, you moved all the way from Hawaii, try to come out here for the big thing, to try to be bigger, to try to, see, try to push yourself to a different level. And when you win the national championship, there's nothing like it.
Oh, wow, man. Well, I hope this year's your guys' year, bro. I hope to see you get that again. And bro, your story is pretty inspirational and definitely got me going because you're a Damien alum, and to see how you moved your way up and to see your success. I remember like seeing you at the gym back in the day when you were deciding to, I might be a bodybuilder, or you're a security guard at one of the clubs. And bro, I don't forget that. I seen it all, bro. Like you definitely can inspire people, and you are with these kids. And bro, it's super cool to see a Damien grad, one boy from Kaneohe side, making a mark on this football. It's super cool to see, man.
Appreciate that, bro. Thanks, Dad.
Well, thanks again for coming on, bro. And it means a lot to me and to John too. He's a UH fan, but yeah, it's cool to talk to you, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate you having me, man. Thanks, John. I really appreciate you guys having me on.
Right on. Well, hope you guys have the championship season this year, and you guys just getting started, and we'll be watching, man. We'll be watching. Right on, bro. Much aloha. Shakas for the camera. And always shout out to the Artist Group Network. All right.